to A Well-Designed Business. My name is Luann Nigara, and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company Window Works from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. Today is a sponsored show, sponsored by Seasonal Living. And I'm so thrilled because today I get to talk with two amazing interior design industry powerhouses, Gary Pettit of Seasonal Living and Leslie Carothers of Savour Partnership. Gary's company, Seasonal Living, is an award-winning Texas-based manufacturer of modern indoor-outdoor furniture, lighting, planters, and decorative accessories. Gary is also the publisher of Seasonal Living, a consumer-facing digital lifestyle magazine. The visionary that he is, Gary recently asked Leslie, a marketing dynamo, to help him materialize his idea for the world's first luxury virtual showhouse, featuring both augmented reality and virtual reality capabilities. Now, you know that Leslie is our friend and she's been on the show 2 times before. And when she called me and she said, this virtual show house is on steroids, I knew that it had to be something, okay? So I'd like to turn the conversation to Gary and to Leslie and to let them explain to all of us what this show house experience is about and how we can get in on the fun launch party that's coming up very soon. Hi, Leslie. So nice to have you back on A Well-Designed Business today.
Thank you, Luann. It's great to be here.
I'm looking forward to connecting with you again and learning what's going on. And I'm happy to welcome Gary to the show for the first time. Hi, Gary. How are you?
Hi, Luann. Great to be here. We've got a lot to talk to you about today.
We sure do. I mean, of course, we all know the powerhouse that Leslie is. Let's be serious. I have such respect for this lady. And Gary, everything that I've learned through Leslie over the last year or two, I mean, even when she was on our show last year, she talked about the work that she's done for you at Seasonal Living. But over the last month or two, I've certainly gotten to know so much more about you and your company and Seasonal Living and what you do. And I'm so excited today to bring a lot of this information and message to the interior design community. And I think the first thing that we should probably do is let's talk about Seasonal Living. Who are you? What are you? And then, of course, into, your, from being a brand and a manufacturer, you've got your magazine, Seasonal Living magazine. So do we want to just take a little bit of a moment there to talk about your mission and what you do and how you do it?
Sure. Seasonal Living is a company based in Austin, Texas. We're a wholesale manufacturer, and we've been in business 17 years. And we really our primary audience is a combination of design-oriented retailers and the design trade customers. Okay. And we've really tried to focus our business much more around very much design-oriented customers and end consumers as well, so that they understand what we're looking for.
And so here's the thing. So you have this company, you are servicing the interior design trade, consumer trade, you make this amazing, beautiful product. And along comes Leslie and this marketing genius that she is. And the two of you really come up with and design the Seasonal Living magazine, which is a truly lifestyle magazine that is going out consumer facing, but you have a very particular commitment to the interior designer as an individual, as a business owner, and the industry at whole at supporting the designer and the industry in addition to your own brand through this magazine. Am I on the right track?
Yes.
So, Leslie, you tell me, you meet Gary. I think you've known him for many years, if I understand correctly, but you have this opportunity, you and Sam with Savour Partnership, to start to work and create this product, this magazine for him. I can just imagine your wheels turning with somebody like Gary, who's such a visionary and has such a core message of really being a partner to the industry. And then you smash your marketing genius right up against that. Tell us what, it means for you, and what do you see that he's creating, and how is your role with Sam in all of this?
Well, I think it's kind of important for everyone listening to know that a little bit just quickly about how I met Gary. So I was actually at Las Vegas Market about 8 years ago now, and walking by his beautiful wholesale showroom. Gary is a manufacturer of indoor, outdoor furniture, accessories, planters, and lighting. And I was really struck by the color of his products, something unusual in that category. And so I walked in not knowing Gary or anybody. I just loved what he was doing. And it just happened to be Gary standing there. So 8 years ago, we just started chatting. And that's actually how we met, in case anybody is kind of interested. And then about 2.5 years ago, Gary and I sort of ran into each other one very early morning in the dark in another showroom. And Gary said to me, I'm really ready to talk to you all now, a little more seriously about, what you're doing, et cetera. So we started talking. And out of that, I had just started Savour Partnership with Sam a year prior to that, or maybe even just a half a year prior to that conversation. And so I started talking to Gary about the idea of doing a magazine that would be consumer facing, and that would be obviously a tool for brand awareness, but also a way to really just support the design community, which is one of his key goals, and to do it in a way that wasn't quid pro quo. In other words, in the magazine, just tell you all up front, designers do not pay us to be featured in the magazine. They never have to have ever used or specified Seasonal Livings products. We don't feature a designer that has used Seasonal Livings products. I think we've actually only featured 2 designers in all 10 issues that we've done now that have ever used Seasonal Livings products. So Gary is genuinely all about supporting the design community in really new, innovative ways. And I think Steve Jobs, sort of mantra of think different applies completely, to Gary.
It's, the first thing that occurs to me is how many times the theme of relationship building has been discussed on the podcast, and how, here you are, you have this meeting at Las Vegas Market, you walk in and you just don't walk, you can imagine it. You could walk in, you could look, he could say hello to you, can I help you? And you could say, no, I'm just looking, I was impressed by your showroom, and move on, right? Like you could do that, right? But instead, you probably struck up a conversation and really made a connection that didn't really do anything probably more than just niceties for the next 6 years. But that first connection was, I guarantee you, if I know you, and learning to know Gary in the last month and 2 was more than just, just thought it looked good, thanks, bye, right?
Well, I think, Luann, I would just say there, if anybody knows Leslie, she's a Powerball in herself. Yeah. And, one thing I can say about Leslie is the one most amazing feature about her is the incredible energy she brings and incredible enthusiasm to her work. And she is so committed to making seasonal living successful. And, when we originally started talking, the world was in a different place. And originally we started beginning to look in the social media, but our relationship really grew from that. And instead of just looking at it from a social media perspective, we really wanted to find ways to build larger influencer marketing and content marketing initiatives. And so Leslie is a key part of our team in terms of helping us define and implement strategies and key marketing objectives.
Yeah, I do. I know what a powerhouse she is, and I know how passionate she is, and I know what she's like to work with. She goes all in. There's no question. And I just love that it is that lesson, is that you come to a conversation, an opportunity with just the end game of making that connection there, because it's not always about, could you be my client now? Could you do this now? It's just, who are you? This is interesting. What's going on? And that's what I do have always recognized myself about Leslie, is that she takes the time to understand what is important to you and what ticks, and just for the simple friendship and curiosity of it, right? And so it's just a good lesson, and I love it. And it reminds me of, way back in the beginning of the podcast, I remember meeting Mulaney Barnett, and she described how she came to have her rug line with Cravat, and she said 2, 3, 4, 5 years in a row, she would be showing at, I don't know if it was the AD show, but some trade show. And, would just meander down the aisle, and she just struck up, the conversation with the VP of sales and marketing, whatever section of Cravat it was, and they just became friends. And they would look and see each other each year, and blah blah blah. And then one year he walked down to her booth and said, I think it's time we work together. And so that reminded me exactly of that, Leslie, when you said we just talked. I admired his product, and then 6 years later, you met again, and there was the opportunity to work together. So, great lesson.
I think it's that, but I also think that really what Leslie has brought to it from our perspective is really, I can find lots of people out there who can handle social media marketing, but Leslie brings a 360 kind of encompassing approach. And what I really admire about Leslie is she doesn't hold back in terms of her incredible enthusiasm that she brings as a supplier who helps us. And she won't take no for an answer. I mean, she is she's incredible in terms of the energy that's in there, but in a very organized and systematic and strategic approach that she approaches being a super asset to an organization like Seasonal Living.
I love it. And if you haven't heard the other two episodes that Leslie's been on the show, I'll put the numbers in the show notes, and you'll get a little bit more of exactly what Gary's talking about, the way she works and how she works and what their company is about. And that will inform this discussion. So Leslie, you have this out of the box thinker in Gary, who is interested in not only obviously supporting his brand and amplifying his brand out into the marketplace, but is a visionary in that, hey, let's all rise up. Like, how else can I support others in the design industry? And you guys come up with this magazine, Seasonal Living magazine. So this is a digital magazine. I understand that it comes out quarterly, and that it is usually about 32 pages. And as you said, it's not a pay-to-play. Designers are featured and so forth. So tell us, and it goes to consumers as well as designers. Tell us a little bit about I guess maybe from your perspective, what you see as the vehicle and the way it functions, and then also how do designers get featured? What is that selection process and that editorial process, and what are the opportunities there?
Okay. So first of all, for everyone listening, Seasonal Living magazine has a mission, which it's had from the very beginning, which is to encourage everybody to live more in harmony with the 4 seasons of fall, winter, spring, and summer. That is number 1 mission. Number 2 is we do that through content buckets for each issue of the magazine. And so each issue of the magazine contains articles, really inspiring images, fun videos on food and recipes that are seasonal, on travel, where you can go that's really wonderful and off the beaten track, that's more seasonal in nature. We also do that, of course, through featuring a designer or 2 in every issue. And we also do that through our articles on wellness and articles on entertaining. The magazine is also shoppable, meaning that there are many links in the magazine. We find great things for you. And if you click on those things, you can buy them straight from the magazine. So that's the way we've developed the magazine around that mission, to make sure that everyone that reads it feels that they're in the season of the moment. And we actually just launched the fall 2020 issue of Seasonal Living magazine. And if you all want to see that, you can subscribe to the magazine for free. And that link is seasonalliving.com/bonus-mag, MAG. So just so you know, it is completely free for you to explore and enjoy. As far as the designer portion of the magazine, that decision Gary has very kindly left to me to decide who we are going to feature. And of course, my company's creative director is Sam Henderson, and Sam lives in Paris full time, but Sam is the visual genius that puts the magazine together. So if you've ever seen it, it's very beautiful. And Sam gets all the credit for the design of the magazine. And so Sam and I together look at sort of the portfolio of designers that I found that, I think would be appropriate for that issue. And then we together decide on, which designer we're going to feature in the magazine that month. So it's really a true editorial opportunity for all of you listening. We recognize that we're not, a major shelter magazine yet, but we do get great response from the magazine. It does go out to over 50,000 people right now. We also do advertise the magazine on Facebook and Instagram for every issue. So the designers in the magazine are certainly getting exposure for their work to a consumer as well as a industry audience every time they're featured. So I am very grateful to Gary for giving us that freedom and also not requiring us to use a designer that has actually, used his products in the magazine. It's the only magazine out there produced by a brand that has that element to it, which makes it very unique and which really backs up what Gary said, which is his mission is, and part of the reason I am so passionate about his brand is because he genuinely cares about designers. Like, he gets, what designers need and is actually investing his own money into providing them with that. Like, he gets that designers don't have a lot of media outlets for their work now, just given what's happened in the general publishing industry. And so he's invested his own money in building a magazine that helps them get that exposure. And he's invested his money in me, that helps get the content of the magazine out there to a much wider audience. So this is really important for all of you to know. And what I really do hope, really honestly, is that all of you will honor that commitment that he's made financially. And really, if you need outdoor living products for your clients, please look at Seasonal Living as a resource. Price point wise, I'm just going to say it because I want to give a pitch to my wonderful client, but it's true. It comes under some of the more well-known brand names in terms of price point. So it's not Home Depot at all, but it's also not, the upper price range. So it's like mid to higher price range on product. And one nice thing quickly is that Gary's product is in stock in Dallas. He planned ahead. So if you need quick shipments on product, you can actually get it in most cases. He ships from Dallas. So that's all I'll say about that.
Well, that's all great. I mean, I have to say, and of course, this is the year of doing outdoor decorating. I can just tell you based on WindowWorks sales. We have done almost $1 million. I think we're almost at $1.8 million in just outdoor awning sales this year. It's insane. Okay. And that's because people are home and they're in their backyard and they're not going on vacations. And so just like they need an awning so that they can be in their outdoor space and not get fried like an egg on the concrete, they also are saying, hey, we need an upgrade out here, right?
So designers do have Seasonal Living's products as a resource for their outdoor living needs. And of course, now Seasonal Living magazine, as you've just heard, is a resource for you to get inspired by. And then the next big thing that's happening is what I think you're going to talk with us next about, right, Luann?
Yes, we've got to get to this amazing Showhouse that Seasonal Living is staging. I mean, this is, talk about innovation. First of all, this whole idea of a brand having a magazine that is consumer and industry facing, that is not pay to play for designers, that, really showcases, like you said, all the lifestyle areas of entertainment, travel, all of that, wellness, everything. And now you are raising the bar again by being the very, very first virtual show house that is also features augmented reality and virtual reality. And these are, components that are just, again, next bar. But you're going to need to explain to us a little bit about the mission of the show house and what these, AR and VR mean to us as participants.
And let me jump in here, Luann. When to just give your listeners a little bit of background on this, when obviously the pandemic happened earlier this year, when it's really started to grow in the early part of the spring, and we were looking at ways to connect with just our existing customer base, what became really evident to me was how very quickly the concept of Zoom calls that every other manufacturer was planning to connect with designers, and we did ourselves initially, I could quickly see that as an experience that would really dry up in terms of the appeal to a lot of design firms. And, I just know myself, anybody knows to do these Zoom calls is a big investment of time and commitment and thinking. And so that's really where I started talking to Leslie. And I said, wouldn't it be cool to create a luxury virtual designer show house and do it in a way that really has never been done before? And so that was the genesis of this. And Leslie and I then started to talk about it. And with Leslie's great experience in influencer and content marketing and social media marketing, she really helped us formulate this winning formula that we've been working on. And, it's incredible how our year has folded so quickly. I mean, we were talking about this in, I think, February, March timeframe, and how quickly it has come together, and how much time we've really spent on a daily basis making this work for both companies here in a way that really benefits us and also provides designers a really fresh and unique way to experience beautiful product, not just seasonal living product, but incredible sponsors product, and allows designers, the participating showhouse designers, a really unique way to showcase their incredible design skills.
Yeah, what you guys have put together is remarkable. So who wants to walk us through exactly? There is literally there is literally the plot of land in California, but the 20,000 square foot home is not a real home. It's the vision of someone who designed it for you. Am I correct on that distinction?
Yes. So initially, this idea was to look to California because of the inspiration that California provides in terms of outdoor living and the beautiful climates they have, and just the aspirational nature of California, and also their commitment to the environment and everything else. And so that was the genesis. And so we worked with eDesign Tribe, Jenna Gadaisek's firm, and Leslie connected me with Jenna, and we started to talk about what this designer show house could look like. And Jenna has this amazing platform that really works with a lot of digital design and virtual design, as well as 4K photo rendering opportunities. And so it was a perfect example of Leslie's connectiveness to bring these two companies together. And we identified this real plot of land in Malibu, California. And I was thinking to myself yesterday, what is the irony is that we're in the year 2020, we have 20,000 square feet, we have all these 20s bubbling up. It was kind of fortuitous that we created this amazing digital house on 20 acres of land. And the house was not solely just about being a regular house. We wanted to showcase potentially how houses will change and reflect new styles of living that we're all having to live in today's world.
Yes, I will add to that, Luann, a little bit too, because Gary's being modest, but Gary actually wrote the brief for the house. So he actually concocted sort of the client for the house in his mind, and then he wrote out exactly what he wanted each room in the house to be able to do and to be. And the two themes of the house are wellness and sustainability. And the brief was, if you ask any of the participating designers, they would tell you that the brief was extremely detailed. Gave that brief to Jenna and Sarah Durnez and Annalie Waterman, who are the two key modeler rendering artists that are working on this with us. And then Jenna and Sarah together came up with a floor plan from Gary's brief. Like they just dreamt up the floor plan out of their imagination, after a lot of research.
Wow.
And what they did was what Jenna and Sarah did was to turn the floor plan over to Annalie Waterman. Now, this is important for any of you that are listening that are probably wondering. Annalie is a nationally certified building designer. So she can do most of what an architect can do, except for she can't do the extensive work that an architect can do with respect to size and how high a building can be. But Annalie took the floor plan, and then she is the one that actually rendered it up. She built it up in the virtual world, and she built out the interior. And this is a floor plan that could actually be built. So it is not something that would wobble if you actually tried to build it. She built it according to architectural standards, but it only exists in the virtual world. So this is unlike other things that are being called virtual show houses, because this is truly the first one that's ever been created completely from Gary and Jenna and Sarah's imaginations and built only in the virtual world at this point.
Wow.
And yes. And so within the house, just to explain to everybody listening, what you're going to be experiencing, you will be able from your computer to actually walk in, quote unquote, with your mouse to the show house, run around the show house, zoom in, zoom out, look at any detail that you want to look at. And every single product from our sponsors will have a little teeny white dot on it. And you will be able to click on that white dot and be able to see more information and more images from that particular sponsor and find out what you would like to find out. A few of the products in the show house will be directly shoppable. Most of them won't be. You'll be taken to a place where you can learn more. But this is the first of its kind with that type of product discovery. Then in addition, in a layer, 3 more layers on top, which is what makes it really exciting. So 50 of the products in the show house will have augmented reality highlights, meaning that any viewer of the show house can take their phone, click on an image, and actually see that exact product in their home. So that's what augmented reality allows you to do. And then the second layer is virtual reality. So if you own a pair of Oculus virtual reality glasses, you will be able to put them on and see the house in virtual reality through your Oculus glasses. So that is also a very exciting layer. So then after that, what I also want to say, for the 11 participating designers, and I know you're going to ask me how they were chosen and all of that, but before I get into that, what's really exciting for them, and I will tell you since, I was responsible for choosing them, is that they have the opportunity to use their creative imaginations with no budget, no product limitations, nothing. So they are completely free to have explored the breadth of their creative imagination. That's what I want to say, with no, which is what's going to make it really, for all of you listening, so exciting to see what these designers, who many of you do know since they're nationally known designers, how they've actually expressed that within a virtual world. It's very exciting. So again, unlike what some of us are used to seeing right now, which is a real show house that had to go virtual. So you're actually, you might be able to go into that show house, with a mouse and look around, but what you're really seeing is a real built house with rooms with real furniture in it, and you're being able to tour that virtually. But this one, no, this is all virtual, and every room has been rendered by Sarah, Jenna's team of Sarah and Sarah's helpers, has been rendered in 4K photorealistic rendering. So everything you're going to see is actually not a real built room, but a virtual rendering. And it's just going to be incredible. I'm so excited about it.
It's
I would
incredible.
add,
Go ahead.
I'd add one other thing in there, Luann, which is when we were thinking about the concept, we really wanted to provide an environment for the designers where they felt totally uninhibited by issues such as code, for example. So we didn't purposely put barriers in front of the designers and force them to consider about code, because why would we? This show house was purely intended to provide aspiration and imagination of ways of living, and a great showcase for the sponsors' products and the designers' incredible designs. That was it. It was not intended to be something could necessarily be built, although we'd had discussions about that. It was meant to be allow great manufacturers and amazing designers to come together and look at a beautiful product in the amazing scale of a designer show house.
It's remarkable, the vision of it and the details and the layers and the features that you've put into it. And I cannot wait to see it. It's so exciting to think about this. And I just have a couple of things I want to go back to in all of that you guys were just sharing. Is number one, of course, Sarah Dernier has been on the podcast before, and I'll put her episode in the show notes. And Jenna is on the books to be interviewed. So these are truly talented ladies. I don't know Anna Lee at all, but what the process sounds amazing. That here Gary writes a vision for a home, and then Sarah and Jenna sit down and make that vision a thing, right? And then Anna Lee turns around and makes it into a building, an elevation, 3D. Like, it's just so incredible. And when you talk about, first of all, as a sponsor, to be able to have your product in the show house and any one of us to say, I love that, and just click and there's the info on it. Like, oh my God, that's your genius, Leslie. That, great to get the info and the marketing and the thing out there, but how do we connect that to the ROI for the people that work with you? And I know that from working with you firsthand, that this is part of your superpowers. And then the thing that I'm curious about is the 50 items that have the augmented reality that you say that you can click on and put and see in your own home. Of course, for designers, this is valuable for their own self, but also for their projects. Would that really look good in my client's project? And so what happens is, you upload the picture of your room, and like, how does all that work?
No. So what happens there? No. So we'll keep this really simple. For this particular show house, it will be 50 products selected, and those will be selected not by me and not by Gary, but by Sarah Dernier. And Sarah will select the 50 products to have augmented reality highlights. And there will be just literally, if you're the viewer of the show house, then you will be able to take your phone, look at that product, and then move it into your home. So so it's not about designers uploading rooms or any of that sort of thing. This is literally just 50 products that you'll be able to. And if you don't know how augmented reality works, really just kind of Google that and say, how does augmented reality work? And if you want to be able to experience that as you're looking at the show house, just Google how does augmented reality work on my iPhone or on my Android, and then you'll be able to understand how to actually do it when you're in the show house. But that technology is, definitely coming. And another really nice little touch that we've added, another layer, is that each designer that's involved, and there are 11, they are creating little videos, 2-minute, 30-second videos. And those little videos will be placed inside each room of the show house. And so you, as a viewer, will see a little icon with the designer's headshot there, and you'll be able to click on that little headshot, and that will pop up, and you will see their video and be able to listen to what went on in the creation of the room, what they were thinking, the ideas that they incorporated. And some of those videos are going to be pretty spectacular. Wow. So I really encourage all of you that are going to be looking at this to listen, to take the time, and there'll only be 2 minutes. We've limited them to 2 minutes 30, so you don't have to spend a lot of time listening to people talk. But I do encourage you to click and spend maybe an hour of your day on each of those videos so that you can really explore what your fellow designers did and the ideas that they incorporated in a show house. I think you'll find them really, really interesting.
I love it.
And I'd add one other aspect to that. When we were really thinking about the show house and how to implement it, and there was no template for us to look at. I mean, we literally had to, we were figuring this out as we went along. And what's amazing is how much knowledge Leslie and I have both gained. I mean, it's almost, I feel like we were, explorers of a new world. And, we were having to understand how to work and how to work with sponsors and how to work with the designers. And what we really tried to stay true to was this concept of allowing the show house to be a true show house. So even though I'd crafted the brief of what the show house would be, we didn't allow my influence to mandate to a designer what they had to do. We had to allow them to have the free reign. Likewise, we didn't allow the manufacturers to have any input into the show house. And you know how picky us manufacturers can be. We love to dial in on the details. And it's not so much about the details, although every sponsoring manufacturer would like it to be about the details. What it's really about is the incredible content, the amazing influence that we've created through these designers to show product in a fresh and unique way, and at the same time allow designers to have their incredible experience and background and knowledge how to showcase the product. So Leslie was very, very key in that, and we ended up pretty much separating. I would manage the sponsors, Leslie would manage the designers, and it was really a marriage made in heaven from that perspective, because we both brought different understandings and different expectations in this whole process, right from the onboarding of sponsors and the designers.
I love it. And the thing is, I want to get to this, because what you're saying is that, there's not a lot of, first of all, forget what there isn't. What there is, and you both have mentioned it, this ability for the designers to be completely, truly creative. There's no, I would love to have that chandelier, but it's $9 billion. I can't have it, right? So You're really seeing the talent of these designers and having the ability for the sponsors to be in it and to have their product placement, but that you are, like you said, you're not letting them really dictate. You're giving the creativity over to your own team and to the designers that you've invited. So these are the two other things that I want to make sure that we cover before we end the podcast. Is we want to talk about the designers that are involved, and we want to talk about the sponsors that are involved. So where do we want to go next with this conversation, you guys?
I will take the designers first,
okay.
And then Gary, if you want to mention the sponsors. But first of all, the designers that are involved, quickly for everyone listening, most of you know them, but Robin Barron and Carla Aston, Ariane Belizaire, Jeannie Cho Chung, Gloria Bell LeBron, Ariana Afshar Lovato, Rachel Moriarty, Laura Muller, Veronica Solomon, Erica Ward, and Michelle Jennings-Wiebe. Those are our 11 designers, and they have all done an amazing job for us. And I want to elaborate quickly on something that Gary just said. The sponsors are not allowed to see the rooms before they're presented to the world. So the sponsors actually have had no say in what the designers have been able to have in their rooms, except for providing the designers with their original catalog.
Wow.
Yeah, none. And so, and likewise, the designers have not been constrained to actually only use the sponsor's products. So if, because we didn't know what was going to happen when we first started this, we have a legal agreement with every designer and every sponsor. And in the designer's legal agreement, it states that you must use as many of the sponsor's products in your rooms as possible. But if we're not able to onboard a sponsor for a particular category, you are free to use something that's not from a sponsor. So not constrained. Neither side was constrained or had control over the other. And so what's really unique, I'm sure everyone listening recognizes this, it is a collaboration of trust. The sponsors are trusting us to do a great job, which we are so grateful for, and designers are trusting us to make sure that their work is presented as beautifully as possible. So it's very unique in that regard as well.
Well,
And
go ahead.
I echo very much what Leslie said in terms of the trust from the sponsor side, because you can just imagine, here is Seasonal Living, another manufacturer, potentially a competitor to some of these brands. And yet there was trust. And that was really significant for us to have these amazing brands. I mean, from Signature Kitchen Suites, SKS, and Global Views, and Jaipur Living, Minka Group, Fabricut, Robin Barron Design, Nathan Anthony, Stressless, Sherwin-Williams, Universal Furniture, Cosentino, Revelwoods, Howard Elliott, and Neiman Weeks. And I take my hat off to all of these 15 sponsors because they trusted us to put together this incredible show house. And, you can imagine, Luann, this has never really been done before. And that's quite a commitment for these brands who have to fork over a sponsorship fee to be part of this and trust us that really what we're going to turn out on December the 3rd is going to be pretty awesome, that people are going to talk about this for quite some time.
Well, I have to say, you see, this is where when you take into account who you're working with. Gary, you're new to me in the last 2 months, right? But Leslie, if you've known Leslie for more than 15 minutes, you know what this woman is capable of, and you know where her heart is in this industry, that it is always about sharing, telling other people and bringing in the collaboration. And you used a word to describe her a few moments ago, about 20 minutes ago, about her connectiveness. And so I get you're 100% right, Gary. As a brand, as a potential sponsor, there's risk. You're looking and you're saying, they're saying they're going to do all this, and this sounds like a great idea, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to pull it off. But with the reputation that you bring to the table, and you combine that with the reputation that Leslie and Sam come to the table with, it's really, I would say, not much of a risk, I have to say. I really, I think it's more like, do it. And it's too bad that it's too late for others to get involved, because I imagine you would have other people with their hand up. Of course, we can only assume and hope that there'll be another, and there will be an opportunity for sponsors to get involved in the second time. But at this point, the brands that do understand the combined powerhouse of the two of you, and then add to it these 11 amazing interior designers to what's going on and what's going to be created here. A brand can have an advertisement in the adjacent magazine for this launch. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes, that's correct. But I would say, just to finish on that point, Luann, it is really quite incredible how these sponsors really agreed and had the foresight to commit to this. And each of these 15 sponsors had an incredible vision and trust. And Leslie and I'll always be grateful to each of those brands for the amazing trust that they gave us and commitment to weave this together. Because, let's face it, it's a brand new concept. It's never really been tried before. There's no proof it works. But they voted with their dollars and they said, we trust you. They shared their product catalogs. They shared their dollars with us. And that's quite a commitment in a pandemic age to do that. And I think, yes, it was Leslie's background and experience who certainly helped, but also it was their foresight, their vision of being comfortable to try new ways of marketing, just like seasonal living. We wanted to find ways that would connect with this design audience in a way that designers had resonance with. It wasn't enough for us to just do a showroom. There are virtual showrooms, as you know, there are a lot of them out right now. But we wanted to provide designers with unique experience that no other manufacturer had ever given them before. And that's really the genesis of this.
Well, and I love that you are attributing that quality to the sponsors because, I am placing a lot of weight on both of your reputations, but it's true. And somebody can see it, can expect it, can think it, but to come across and say, yes, dollars on the table, I believe in this, I'm going to go. That does take that entrepreneurial spirit, right? It's that risk taker, that person that says, okay, everything's on the line. Let's go for it. I think this will work. And it could turn out bad or could turn out good. But your point is, I think it's going to come out good. But your point is that 6 months ago, 8 months ago, this was a risk, right?
And I have to tell you, Luann, from the very first sponsor, Global Views, David Gephardt. David jumped out. We presented to him. He said, yes. Where do I sign? He was on board. I mean, that's quite something. A lot of manufacturers may want to understand, well, who else is participating?
Yes.
This is not that different. But that man had amazing vision and understood exactly what we're trying to do. This wasn't so much about showing product, even though all manufacturers, myself included, want to showcase our product. He understood what the opportunity was, and he understood what Leslie was promising, which was the connection of the designers leveraging the customers and databases that the sponsors bring, and weaving it together in this incredible influencer and content marketing strategy that Leslie's been so good at doing. And that's where somebody like David really had amazing vision to say, yes, how do I participate? And then after that, they really started to come on board. But obviously, we did encounter some sponsors who were reticent, wanted to understand, and they were looking very much to control the amount of content that came out of it, which is completely understandable. But this ties into what these incredible 11 designers have done. We didn't specify to any of the designers how much content that they should generate, but through Leslie's incredible selection of these designers, and every single one is a superstar in themselves, how all of these designers have gone way above what we asked them to do. I mean, we asked designers to commit to 1 month, 30 days of promoting the Showhouse, and that'll happen from really December the 3rd to January the 3rd. But in that time, all of these designers have really pushed the boat out from a content and a marketing perspective. And you can look on Instagram, Facebook, and you can see their efforts. And it's incredible, the videos, the blogs, the social media efforts. And none of them were required to do that, but they went above and beyond. And our whole objective wasn't to limit or to try and put parameters around the designers. This had to be a way for both sides to trust each other. And I think, Leslie, as we've gone through this many times, we've talked about how interesting this is, working with the kitchen and bath industry, how different that is to the furniture industry. And bringing these together, these two different sides, and finding ways with designers to build this community of trust and appreciation. And that's really what we've tried to do.
So remarkable. And a couple of times, Leslie, you've been trying to say something, and Gary and I just keep talking over you. Sorry.
Okay, but I just want to say a major shift. So if this is a brand listening, a major shift. So Gary and I onboarded the sponsors together. We spent all summer doing that. And we gave all the presentations together, et cetera. And so a major shift for a lot of manufacturers, and if you're listening as one right now, and you still may not know this, but many manufacturers didn't realize, even design-oriented manufacturers, that there are certain designers out there who are not only specifiers of product potentially, but who are also major online publishers. And they haven't made that shift to think of designer as publisher.
Mm-hmm.
And they hadn't made the shift to understand how much a designer could also impact their ability to be found in search because of the power of the designer's online platforms. So when you think of what is influencer marketing, still many brands still have like just Instagram followers, on their mind. But for the brands that really understand influencer marketing, it is not about Instagram. It is about the power of the designer to generate search. Mm-hmm. That's really what it is. And I just want to say this for all of you designers that are listening too, you have so much power that you may not even realize if you develop your own online platforms, because you have the power to impact search for a brand. So by bringing these very powerful 11 publishers together who are also designer specifiers, that is the power of influencer marketing and the power of the program for the sponsors, and was a major thing that the sponsors had to understand. And I think it was wonderful, obviously the 15 of them, really did. And Luann, I just want to get back now to a question you'd asked earlier, which is how do brands participate, at this point? Can they? So right now we are not taking any more sponsors for, the Showhouse is debuting on December 3rd, but we are accepting ads in the magazine. So this is important for everyone to understand. On December 3rd at 6 p.m. Eastern time, we are, when I say we, and Luann, for everyone who doesn't know, Luann is going to be our host for this, so we're super excited.
I'm so excited too.
Our online launch event. So we are having a professionally produced online launch event party where we'll have a very special cocktail recipe coming for you that you can make at home. We're asking everyone to dress up like Cocktail at Home to kick off holiday 2020. But this online launch party will be about a half an hour to 40 minutes or so. You will be given a link to where you can actually go watch it. It is not a Zoom call. It is very professionally produced. We actually have our production team going up to Luann's office and flying there and coming here to where I live and coming to where Gary lives. So it's going to be a lot of fun where we're actually going to debut the Showhouse. So if you are a brand listening and you want to be part of the Showhouse, we are not, as I said, accepting sponsors, but if you would like to have an ad in Seasonal Living magazine, we are producing a special edition of Seasonal Living magazine, which is where the link to the Showhouse will actually live online. And that link will live online forever. The magazine is published on the Issue platform, and Issue Corporate has gotten involved with us in promoting what we're doing because what we're doing is the first of its kind in the world, and it's being done on their platform. So we're really excited to have Issue Corporate involved in helping us promote this whole thing as well. So if you are a brand that would like to participate with an ad in the magazine, all you have to do is email editor@seasonalliving.com and we will get back to you right away. So all of our participating sponsors will have an ad in the magazine, but if you would like to have one too, we'd love to have you, be part of it, because it's going to be very exciting. And the magazine does live online forever. So there will be a lot of traffic coming to the magazine over time, of course, immediately, but also over time. So this is what's going to happen now. So next thing is December 3rd at 6 p.m. ET. You will be able to be part of our online launch party. It is complimentary. There's no charge. You will actually register for it on bit.ly/designer showhouse, capital D, capital S. Bitly is case sensitive. So if you don't like clicking a Bitly link, you can also just go directly to the link on our landing page, which is seasonallliving.com/designer-showhouse-registration, and register there. And there you will also be able to click two buttons. One is meet our sponsor, meet our designers. And when you click those buttons, you'll also be able to follow everybody immediately, because they're all linked. All their social channels, etc., are linked on our landing page. The tag, the official hashtag for the event is hashtag SL, Seasonal Living, DS, Designer Showhouse, SLDS21. So if you're on Instagram or Facebook and you want to, be part of the fun and get your thoughts out there, then just use our hashtag. And of course, it will aggregate all your comments, etc., on the tag. You can go there now, even just to see, what different people have been, saying. We're excited to the brands. So that's how you will actually see the launch of the show house. And then Luann, being our hostess with the mostest, giving you a great time with that while we're all drinking our special cocktail recipe that we're making for you, that Gary's had mixed up for you all. And then you'll be in your cocktail attire, hopefully at home. And then afterwards, you'll be invited to go to our special edition of Seasonal Living magazine, which will go live right on that day, right after our party. And you will be able to tour the entire show house at that time, just right there and then, or the next day. So you can actually go into the magazine right after our lunch party and tour the whole thing yourself. So we will not be showing you every single room during the launch party, because we do want you to see it all at your own pace. And so you'll be invited to go to the magazine. And again, there's no charge to look at the magazine. There's no charge to subscribe to the magazine. So this whole thing for our industry and for all viewers from around the world is actually completely complimentary. The only thing that we're asking for is an email address. If you can give us that, we'd super appreciate it. But other than that, that's it. We're putting the whole thing together. Gary has made this huge investment. The sponsors have made this huge investment to bring this super exciting program to viewers around the world. And something exciting is we almost have 1,000 viewers signed up right now to see it.
Yeah,
no,
it's incredible.
So that's, we want you, everyone listening, to be part of it too, and join the party. And we're going to have a lot of fun. And December 3rd is a Thursday night. So Thursday night, December 3rd, 6 p.m. Eastern time. So that's 5 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Mountain, 3 p.m. Pacific time.
So go ahead.
And Luann, I know that maybe there are some listeners out there who may be thinking, well, how is this going to compare to a real show house? I have the opportunity, and we looked at it from both sides, and we realized that there is, it'll never replace a real show house. And we didn't ever plan for it to replace a show house, but we wanted to provide a safe, comfortable experience. And we think that regardless of whether Seasonal Living does another version of a show house or not, we really think that there is opportunity for both these experiences to coexist. I mean, you can take somewhere like the Pasadena show house out in California, which some of our designers have just recently been involved with. And of course, nothing beats going, touching, experiencing. But this brings a wider audience. And that's really what we're presenting here is, there are no geographical limitations. There is no requirement to get on an aircraft and travel to. So you have a unique experience to experience this, whether you're in Hong Kong, London, New York, or Malibu. this show house in a very unique way, completely comfortable. And as Leslie said, with our special show house cocktail that we're asking everybody to participate in. And why did we do a show house cocktail? Because we realized, of course, it's not the same, being able to walk through with your girlfriends or your best pals to experience a show house. So, but we wanted people to feel a way to feel connected with the show house, that they were part of something that was very special and very different.
It's remarkable. It's so well thought out. It's so exciting. The anticipation is insane. And thinking that at the time that we're recording this, there's over 1,000 designers signed up. There'll probably be 2,000 by the time this goes on air. And who knows how many by the time we get there. And what a fun, amazing event for the entire community to rally around and to see the amazing visionary work of these interior designers and to be exposed to possibly brands through the sponsorship of the brands that are involved, to be exposed to their products that maybe you never saw or heard of before. It's just, I'm so honored to be involved and to be the host. And so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to, double check. Like I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of give you a little taste, kind of walk you through a tiny, tiny bit. And that's what we're going to have at the party, and stop and click on a couple of things or just talk a little bit about a couple of things. But then when that party is done, the idea is that you'll go right to the magazine and then you can sit and really take your time. Like when you flip through a fun design magazine or a design book and you flip through and you're excited, but then you go back to it time and time again and say, wait, let me go back into Laura Muller's room. Let me go back into Erica Ward's room. Let me go back into these different rooms and see this product over and over again, right? Because as designers, it's not going to be just one look. And with a regular show house, you get impressed, and maybe you do go back 2 or 3 times before the show house is done. But then it has to live in your memory about the detail that impressed you by someone's, talent, right?
And as Leslie said, this show house exists forever. It truly, it doesn't go away. It exists on the issue platform. And it's an incredible, that's the value, I think, to the designers who are participating and also to the sponsors.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like it's gone in 2 months or 3 months. It lives frozen in time online in the Seasonal Living magazine forever. And I think that is just such great value to all of those because, we know technology changes so quickly. A year from now, 2 years from now, there'll be new. We're talking about VR today, AR, but it's all going to change around in the next few years, and there'll be other new experiences. That's the great thing about technology today.
It's nuts. Yeah. It's like sitting here and thinking back when you were a kid and you watched the Jetsons, right? I mean, it's like now this is happening.
It is. It is actually really amazing that it's happening. And something else I think that is really fun is because the magazine lives on the issue platform, the magazine is searchable. So it's something that, consumers, anyone from around the world, if they're searching the search terms that are in the magazine, see, this is a little deeper, but they can actually find the magazine. So that's an exciting piece of having, your own digital magazine, which Gary has invested in. And then I want to say one last thing for all the designers that are listening. You're thinking, well, why should I promote something that I'm not involved in? And I get that. Because here's the thing, as an industry, and for every brand listening as well, but as an industry, we are competing against other industries for a consumer's disposable income. Like this is a real business thing, right? Consumers have a choice to spend that on electronics or on, any other durable good, cars, any other durable goods category. So by coming together like this, and even if you're not participating, but by helping us get the word out about it, whether you share a link to our registration page or whether some of the designers in my Facebook group that are not participating have written blog posts about it already. I really encourage you, Luann, to share that. It's amazing that they've actually are not participating, but they understand that the value is in really helping the consumer understand that our industry is on top of AR and VR, and that we are a very forward-thinking industry. And what we're doing to prove that is this project. So it's something that even if you're not involved financially in it in any way or as a designer, by promoting it, you're just promoting the entire industry. By helping us get the word out, I should say, you're just helping to promote how forward thinking the interior design and furniture industry really is, because consumers are certainly aware of AR and VR technology. And this Christmas season, for sure, Oculus glasses are going to be like the gift du jour. Seriously though, like every consumer out there is like, what's new, what's next when it comes to tech. And so now we as an industry have this tech enabled inspirational thing that we can bring to consumers worldwide. And that is really exciting as an industry. So I really encourage all of you listening to please help us get the word out so that we can be seen that way. And then, whether it's us or somebody else, whatever the next iterations of everything will be, we'll at least be positioned in the consumer's mind as a forward-thinking industry. And I think that's very important as we enter 2021 going forward.
It's you know what, you know me. What's good for one of us is good for all of us. And that's what you're saying is exactly that, is to have the industry be recognized as a leader that is embracing technology. And so if your friend is in the Showhouse and you write a blog post about her, that's awesome. And even if you don't know any of these amazing interior designers, it is for the good of the industry. I think it's outstanding. And I'm just so excited to be a part of it and to watch you guys create this thing. It's going to be so much fun. And so registration now. So we're really saying go to seasonalliving.com/designers-showhouse-registration, right? Is that the one?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And then you have the bit.ly. And of course, we're going to put all of this in the show notes. And I have one question before I let you go. Leslie, you mentioned that the official hashtag to follow is SLDS. You said 21. Is it 21 or 20?
21.
It is 21.
Initiative. Just so everyone knows, in terms of the marketing part, but it is an initiative that will extend it to 21. So once the show house goes live December 3rd, the participating designers will be producing a lot of content around the sponsored products in the month between December 3rd and January 3rd. And then starting January 3rd, Gary will be running a 8-week consumer-facing Facebook and Instagram campaign around the show house.
Wow.
So the actual marketing of the entire event, the formal marketing of it, doesn't actually end until March 3rd.
Wow, nice. That's so exciting. And to your point, the value there for everyone involved, the sponsors, of course, themselves, absolutely, that evergreen content. It's the same with the podcast. It sits there forever. So, somebody who sponsored the show 5 years ago with their commercial still there, right? And so, and of course, for these designers, this opportunity. And this collection of designers, I'm so honored to tell you that 10 of them have been guests on my show or what is there, 11? So 9 have been a guest on the show, and 2 of them, the 2 that haven't been on the show, slap my face because they're both friends of mine. I know both of them have been, on the SKS Design Hounds tour in Napa with each of them and love the other 2 ladies. So, I got to get on that. Let's just be real there. But, it's an incredible body of energy. It's like a body of talent and energy and visionaries that you guys have assembled between the 2 of you as the core, and then pulling in and surrounding yourself with these amazing designers and these amazing sponsors, and then all of us. Let's just all rally around, and I'm really looking forward to enjoying this with you guys. It's going to be outstanding. So congratulations to the 2 of you I can't even imagine. You said that you've worked every day for the last several months on some aspect of it of another, and I just can't even imagine the mountain of work that has gone into creating this. But I'm so thrilled and grateful to be included in it with you, and am excited to see it unfold and be part of it. So thanks so much for coming on and sharing all this with us today.
You're welcome. We very much enjoyed that, and it's really thanks to all the people who participating in the show house, from the designers, the sponsors, that they saw this opportunity. Otherwise, without them, we wouldn't be here today.
Well, and it's also, I want to say, as one last thing, for everyone listening, please do support seasonal living. I think you all by now must recognize what a risk this is for any manufacturer to undertake a show house. So if you do need indoor, outdoor living products for your home, please do think of seasonalliving.com and go check out, what Gary is doing. Gary, is the one that put up all the original money for this, and so deserves all of the credit for being that visionary founder of something that I think is going to have a truly profound impact on our industry going forward.
Outstanding. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So, what do you think? Pretty cool, isn't it? I hope you are planning to join us in celebrating Seasonal Living's virtual Showhouse launch. I am really looking forward to hosting it, and all I have to do is make sure my party clothes fit. Like, seriously, it's been jeans and yoga pants for months, right? No. Okay, here's the thing. Gary's realized that we've all been cooped up in our sweats and that we haven't been able to go to markets and we have limited access to seeing all the new products. So this is our chance to get inspired by how our design friends are using their talent to create beautiful spaces, beautiful virtual spaces, right? And I'm looking forward to not only seeing the videos that my friends have put together, but also what kind of room they've designed, especially when the sky is the limit, no budget, right? So let's go back and see how Gary and Leslie created something amazing out of nothing. All right. First, you've got Gary, who sees the problem that in this crazy world we're living in, we can't participate in show houses. We struggle to see the new products, and you're actually yearning, right, to see what our friends are up to. And he gets this idea. And then he partners with Leslie, the lady who knows how to get the people together to make the things happen. That is totally Leslie. And I love that Gary not only has these big ideas, but he acts on them and he builds the team to make it a go. He recognized a problem, he saw an opportunity to fix the problem, and he knew that Leslie had the energy, the drive, and the relationship building skills to grow his dream into a reality. And honest to goodness, kudos to Leslie for realizing before any of this happened that the design markets we love to attend are more than just an opportunity to view products and to hang out with friends. She made a point to get to know the vendors themselves, not just their products. We already knew that Leslie was a hashtag smart lady. She was back with us back on episode 209. Where she taught us the importance of building an email list, and then again on number 458, where she made us start thinking about how we probably should be thinking about how to make money while we sleep, right? With her marketing prowess, she knows the power digital content marketing, such as the Seasonal Living magazine, has to influence search and to keep us popping up in those almighty search engines, right? All the designers, the sponsors, and the advertisers who participate in the Seasonal Living Showhouse have their content locked in on the internet land forever. I'm so happy to see that Sarah Dernier, who we heard on episode number 418, had a critical part in creating the virtual Showhouse renderings, and along with our friend Jenna Gudusik. Now, Jenna, you haven't heard her yet, but she's coming up in a couple of weeks, but you probably know her already from the e-design tribe, okay? But I have interviewed her, and the show is being prepared as we speak, okay? Now, how many of you have the Oculus glasses that Leslie was talking about, right? Because you're going to want to experience the show house in virtual reality. That part sounds pretty crazy, and I'm thinking it needs to be on the wish list for all of us for the holidays, right? So what are you going to be doing on Thursday, December 3rd at 6 p.m. Eastern Time? All right. I hope that you will be with me and Gary and Leslie and this rock star list of interior designers. Okay. And the thousands of people have already registered. Okay. So what I love is that Seasonal Living really, really got the gang together. And what I also love, and it just amazes me that 9 of the 11 Showhouse designers have been guests on the podcast already. So I just love when we're just going around in circles, all working and collaborating, lifting each other up. This is just the coolest thing. So here we are. We've got Robin Barron, who was on episode 32 and 540. We have Carla Aston, episode 242. Ariane Belazar, episode 20 and 568. We have Jeannie Chung, 406. Rachel Moriarty, episode 55 and 214. Laura Muller, episode 441. Veronica Solomon, all the way back to episode 50. Erica Ward, all the way back to episode 6. Michelle Jennings-Wiebe, episode 148. And I have met Glory Bell LeBron and Ariane Ashvar Lovato, but I haven't had them on the show yet. I have to correct that, right? We have to have 11 out of 11. I think that's what I'm going to be working on. All right. And I know these ladies are amazing ladies, just as I know all of these others are as well. Talented, inspiring, really an A-list group of human beings. That's the thing. A-list group of human beings. Designers also amazing. Okay. Now, and of course, some of the key sponsors of the Showhouse have also been on the show as well. We have Jaipur Living, of course, a current sponsor of the show, episode number 526. Revel Woods, ongoing sponsor of the show as well, episodes 329 and 452. All right, so let's get down to business. Here's the information so that you know how to join us for all of the fun. Party clothes and drinks, everything, all in hand. Here we go. Register to attend the Showhouse by visiting bit.ly, bit.ly/designer showhouse, okay? bit.ly/designer showhouse. Or you can go to seasonalliving.com/designer showhouse registration. Okay. seasonalliving.com/designer showhouse registration. Of course, these are going to be in the show notes. So don't feel like you have to write them down if you're running, jogging, or doing laundry. All right. And now, the other thing is you might, there's very, 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 very tiny limited opportunity that might be left for you if you are a brand out there, or you are, even if you're an interior designer and you have some consumer facing product that you might want to put an ad in the Showhouse edition of the Seasonal Living digital magazine, then I suggest that you email editor@seasonalliving.com. And finally, you're going to want to get your free subscription to Seasonal Living magazine, right? I mean, come on. If you've never heard of it, you need it. All right. seasonalliving.com/bonus mag. seasonalliving.com/bonus mag. Now, of course, all of this is in the show notes, so you can just click there and take care of it easily if you're not able to write this stuff down. All right, now, for the launch of the party, I am going to host it, and we're going to grab our drinks and dress up, as I said, okay? So there won't be necessarily a video element for me to see you, but I'll be there looking for you virtually through the world to make sure you're there, all right? And, of course, we'll be posting this to our stories and, of course, Seasonal Living, and I'm sure Leslie's as well, okay? So we're going to start, as I said, 6 p.m. Eastern on December 3rd, 2020. It's only going to go about 30-45 minutes, so don't be fashionably late. That's not going to be good, okay? And after this introduction and launch party, we'll then have the opportunity to tour the virtual show house and see what all of our talented friends have created, okay? So and by the way, this event is free, right? Did I tell you that part? It's free. So go register to attend the show house, all right? So bit.ly/designer showhouse. All righty. I cannot wait to see the Showhouse and to be a big part of this, be a part of this big event, and to really, really cannot wait to see what they've put together, because these are design industry powerhouses, Gary and Leslie, and I'm honored to be invited, included as the MC of the event. So looking forward to seeing you, and huge pre-congratulations to Gary and Leslie for just the innovation enough. And now we're going to watch the execution of it. All righty, everybody. Have an excellent day. Thank you so much for joining me again today. This podcast is a production of WindowWorks, your resource for custom window treatments and awnings. To learn how we can help you on your next interior design project, go to www.windowworks-nj.com. And if you're interested in working with me on your business, either through masterminds or one-on-one coaching, or you want to know how to get my book, The Making of a Well-Designed Business, or you just want to know what's going on in the podcast land and where I'm going to be, all of that is found at luannigara.com. Thank you so much. Have an excellent day.